We hear this from gay men all the time, usually those in their 50s or pushing their 60s. I want to retire now, but I have absolutely nothing saved.
You're right, John. And when we ask what happened, the answer usually isn't, I was lazy or I didn't care. It usually comes down to three quiet beliefs that many gay men inherited from culture, from trauma, from fantasy and avoidance.
And the dangerous part is that most of us don't realize that these beliefs are still running the show. Today, we're breaking down the 3 retirement myths that kept too many gay men from saving, investing, and building the future that they so desperately want now.
Hello, Rainbow people. I'm David.
And I'm John.
Welcome back to Queer Money, brought to you by Optimize Investment Partners. More on them shortly. So here's the problem. A lot of gay men were never taught to picture themselves as old, as happy, as healthy, loved, financially stable, and free, especially if you grew up during the peak of the HIV/AIDS epidemic.
We were told that we wouldn't live long enough, or that a man would eventually come along and save us. Or a lot of us just believed that we'll figure it out later. But later showed up, and now it wants its receipts. So the question now becomes, what do you do when the myths that helped you survive your younger years start sabotaging your older years?
So that's what we're unpacking today. We're not doing this to shame you or to wag a glitter-covered gay little finger at you, but really just to help you and more of us retire earlier, retire abroad, and retire better.
You're right, David. So is it bad money behavior?
No.
No, it's a future problem. And before we dive into the 3 myths, we need to name the real issue. Right?
Say my name, say my name.
A lot of retirement advice assumes that people believe that they have a future, but so many gay men grew up during a time and a place and in a culture where we didn't actually believe that we had one.
Right. And so if you didn't save or you didn't invest or you didn't plan or you didn't take retirement seriously, it may not be that this was simply you being irresponsible. It may be that somewhere along the way you adopted this idea that your future was optional, uncertain, or maybe even somebody else's problem.
And that's the belief that we need to challenge first. Because once you believe that you have a future, then money becomes less about restrictions and more about protections. Protections of your options, protections of your future, protections of your 60-year-old self, because she's coming whether you like her or not.
And you can make her look pretty. Speaking of looking beautiful,
thank you.
We're going to start this off with this myth of I'll die young and beautiful. John and I believe that this is really a hangover from the HIV/AIDS crisis. We've mentioned this before.
Actually, we just had a whole conversation with a bunch of gaggle of gays in Ajijic, Mexico, a couple of months when we were there, who brought this to our attention as we didn't know it.
Right. And I think that's what's really interesting is that for a lot of gay men who came of age, came out, grew up during the 80s and 90s, dying young wasn't this abstract fear. It was everywhere. Many of us lost friends. Some of us lost lovers, lost our chosen family. We lost our circle. We lost our community. So yeah, for many gay men who lived during this time period, this idea of living for today because tomorrow felt like it was a real maybe. And when tomorrow feels unlikely, planning for retirement can feel kind of ridiculous. And talking to your friends about retirement can actually feel pretty uncool.
Yeah, and this is where the culture of spend it now sort of made emotional sense, right? The travel, the clothing, the fabulous homes, the god bods, the fabulous life. And this is where the whole idea of gay men and gay couples are rich, right? The Gunkel myth, right?
Yeah.
We're all rich. Well, long before Instagram, a lot of gay men were already curating lives that said, I'm here, I'm desirable, I'm alive. And that does deserve compassion.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you say that I'm alive, because I think that's what a lot of gay men wanted. They wanted to prove I'm alive. I'm not dying like other people in the community are. I am still here.
At least not yet.
Right. But the problem is, this is where this myth became really dangerous, is because many of us made this trade-off. We chose today over tomorrow, or in this case, we chose the past over today. But thankfully, Mother Nature and a group of scientists made some really good progress on HIV treatment and prevention. And many men who thought that they wouldn't live to now are very much alive today. They're pushing 60, 65, 70 years old. And they're asking, how do I afford this life that I have now? And that's a really hard turn.
Yeah, so a belief that helped us survive emotionally has now become a financial strategy that no longer works for us. So this is something we have to address. Living for today made sense when tomorrow felt stolen, but tomorrow is here and now it needs funding.
Right. So let us know if this myth sounds familiar to you, whether it's you, yourself, or someone you know. If that's the case, give this video a like or a blue heart emoji in the comments so that we kind of know that we are on track and other people are feeling this too.
All right, the next myth is I'll marry a sugar daddy. And we all love some sugar, right? And listen, we all love a fantasy too. We love a rich man with a jawline and a pool and a generous Amex. But as a retirement strategy, girl, no. And by girl, I mean you, Bo. Most of the good ones are taken.
And I'll say this, the ones who aren't taken, they're most of the time, they're not looking for a project.
No.
It's true. Some people, they do end up with partners who create financial stability. It's real. That is real. But hoping for someone else to fund your retirement like your Cinderella, it's not a plan. It's like a casting call. And sometimes no one wants that role. Or maybe they're scared of the plot line, like a Madonna or Mariah Carey movie.
And the problem with this myth is that it keeps your future outside of your control. You don't save because someone else might. You don't invest because someone else could. You don't build because somebody someday might come along and swoop you off your feet. Pick me, pick me.
It's like sidewalk sale. And when the club is closing at 1:45 in the morning.
Right, and suddenly you're a trad husband. Is trad husband trending on Instagram?
I know.
But retirement cannot be built on a maybe.
Right. And remember, even if you do meet someone wonderful, relationships change. Gray divorce is real. Sadly, people get sick, partners die, money disappears, and no matter how much you love someone, your financial future still needs your name on it. And this is one of the things I love about women in the personal finance space. They're constantly telling other women, girl, you need your purse. Well, guys, you need your purse too.
So if this one hits home, or if this is your sweet, sweet fantasy, baby, let us know by giving this video a thumbs up or by giving us a candy emoji in the comments.
All right, so the next myth is this I'll figure it out later myth. And this is probably the most common.
The most common.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we just worked with a client on one of our retirement readiness reviews. And John, his situation was that he, I think he was his late 20s or early 30s, he moved to Europe pursuing a career. And unfortunately, things didn't work out the way he wanted, so he had to move back to the U.S. And over the next 15 years or so, things just kind of never really got going for him the way that he had wanted through a series of different events. So he wasn't saving for retirement. And so he came to us with not a whole lot of money saved for retirement. And after having a conversation with him, we kind of put him on about a 12-year runway so that he would be able to potentially retire, maybe even retire fabulously. And so, this myth is the one that kind of sounds harmless. It's really easy to get trapped in this one, and probably why it's the most common, because it feels very flexible. It feels optimistic. It feels like I'm not saying no to retirement. I'm just saying, hey, just wait a little bit, and the thing is this one is so real that smart people,
not us,
smart people actually gave this a name. It's called hyperbolic discounting. And hyperbolic discounting is basically when you favor or you decide or you're tempted to spend $50 today rather than saving, knowing that it could become $500 later, even when future you is very much looking at present you saying, girl, calm the F down.
Right. It's like your brain saying, future me can deal with that, and then grabs an immediate reward like it's the last mimosa at brunch. When you say, not yet, Money here is not growing. This is why the time value of money matters. The dollar that you invest today is usually worth more than the dollar you invest later because today's dollar has more time to grow. Like growing is important.
Yep. And the biggest mistake is thinking that I'll invest more when I have more money, when I make more money. But investing isn't only about how much money you invest. It's about how long your money has to compound.
This is where length really matters.
It does. The first dollars that you invest are oftentimes the most powerful ones, the ones that grow to be the biggest because they have decades to earn returns. And those returns earn returns, and returns earn returns, earn returns.
This sounds like my relationship with Amazon.
And the reality is all of this is because of the way that the market works. You see, the market gets an average 9% pay increase every year. What is your pay increase every year? 2%? 3%? Maybe?
Well, if you're a CEO, it's 219%.
Oh, that's true.
When you wait, you don't just lose the money that you didn't invest, you lose the years that your money could have been working for you. And the longer you wait, the more pressure that your future dollars feel. You need to save more. You have less time to recover from market drops. You have fewer options. That's why later is more expensive than a one-night trick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. If
you don't know about that.
If your plan has been to figure it out later, give us a thumbs up or post the clock emoji in the comments.
So, David, I'm curious, which one of these do you think most matches us?
I'll say this. In our early years, I think it was, I'll figure it out later.
Absolutely.
I think I was setting aside money, a little bit of money for retirement through my paycheck, but I wasn't actively thinking about it. I was kind of stuck in this idea of, that's too far away.
I would agree with that, but I think it was more like a hybrid of that. It wasn't so much I'll figure it out later. It was I'll do it better later. So we were just contributing a little bit to our retirement and always had this idea that when we make more money, we'll contribute a lot more.
But we were also really living it up, right? We were living for today. And I think that was part of the need to be seen and felt and heard and that I think that was part of us getting trapped in what was going on in the community in the mid 90s, late 90s, that was still very much dealing with the effects of HIV/AIDS and live for today.
Right. But I think John's story that you shared earlier, and I think our story should be hope for anybody who fears that they didn't start early enough. The best time to start is yesterday. The next best time is today. So if you're ready to make that move, make that change, let us know. All right, so these myths aren't personality flaws, right?
No.
They're just delayed conversations, and that's how we're reframing this. These three myths aren't really three separate mistakes. They're really three different ways of avoiding the same conversation. What kind of life am I building for myself for when I'm older? The I'll die young myth avoids the future through grief. The sugar daddy myth avoids the future through fantasy. The I'll figure it out later myth avoids the future through delay.
And, they are all different stories. It's kind of like, I don't know, you remember those books when you were a kid where you would read and then it would say, go to this page if you answer this and go to this page if you answer that.
Yeah.
No matter what answer, you always ended up eventually on the same page. Well, the same thing is going on here. These all have the same results. And the result is no plan for retirement. And unfortunately, that's why this matters, is because, as we mentioned the outset, we get so many questions that go something like this. I'm 60 years old. I want to retire. I have almost nothing saved. What can I do? And to be clear, it breaks our hearts because John and I do not have a magic wand. And the truth is, we know that these questions really didn't start at 60. This started decades earlier with a belief that went unchallenged.
Until now.
So here's the tea. You can't change the past, but you can stop letting old myths run your future, or in some cases, continue ruining your future.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? Well, the first is to stop shaming yourself. Shame isn't a retirement plan either. It fixes nothing. It helps no one.
Exactly. And the second is to name the myth that has the most power over you. Was it the I won't live long enough myth? Was it the I'll have a sugar daddy save me myth? Was it I'll deal with it later, like David and me? Because once you name it, then you stop letting it make decisions for your life that clearly aren't working out.
Yeah. And the third thing here is to have that conversation now. Whether it's with yourself, with a trusted friend, with your partner, or even with us, look at what you have. What do you owe, if you owe anything? What do you need, truly need? What kind of life do you actually want? Retirement planning is about creating and building options. And the sooner you start building those options, the more freedom future you gets.
Exactly. So what's the fix? Here's what we suggest. Asset acquisition and cash flow building. This is the Wealth Builders Pyramid that we've talked about endlessly on the show. It's through a combination of stock market investments, real estate investments, small business investments, and any other cash flowing investments you can generate, such as annuity income, pension income, or even life insurance or Social Security after you turn 62.
And we want you to do this so that at least 3 of these income streams, each of them covers 50% of your living expenses. And speaking of building options, it's key to diversify not just your investments, but also where you think you might retire. The Optimized Investment Partners Portugal Golden Opportunities Fund helps you do both. With an investment from your IRA, you can secure not just investment diversification, but also visa for residency in Portugal for you, your family, and your fabulous retirement life.
Click the link in the description of this video for more information. So here's the truth. Too many of us gay men were taught to not trust the future because we didn't think it was going to come. But we've got news for you. She's coming whether you like her or not.
Right. And your older gay self deserves more than panic, avoidance, or I'll figure it out later. He deserves options. He deserves dignity. He deserves joy. And yes, you deserve to retire fabulously, not just fabulously broke.
So if this video hits a little close to home to you and you're ready to finally have that retirement conversation, this is exactly how we help people. Click the other link in the description below or on your podcast player to schedule a retirement readiness review with us. We'll help you look at where you are, where you want to go, and what steps you have to take to retire early, retire abroad, or just retire better.
And if you're looking for more videos on how to retire earlier or better, we've curated this whole playlist for you right here. And until next time, stay fabulous.
Not fabulously broke.